Your examiner wants you to pass. Is that shocking, right? They want you to pass. They want you to pass. There's nothing, they are not benefiting anything, I promise you, if you fail. They want you to pass your OSCE the first time. Is that shocking? No. They want you to pass. I mean, the patients in the hospital, they need nurses in the hospital. So you're failing and remaining outside of the hospital is not good for patient safety. The more nurses they have, the more patient safety, the more effective healthcare. So just have that behind your mind that these people actually want me to pass when you're going to write your OSCE. Welcome to my channel. This is Jane and this is overseas nursing bands. Why did I say that wrong? Overseas nursing bands. Here we talk about everything overseas nursing. So you're trained outside of the UK as a nurse and you're wanting to come and be a registered nurse in the UK. We've got you here. All the things you need to do to be registered in the UK, we've got you here. All OSCE, everything we talk about, even when you're here, how to integrate. So we are interested also to know about your mental health and everything. This is all we talk about here. But before we continue, how are you? Yeah, you, how are you? Yeah, seriously, how are you? Are you all right? You okay? You sure? Good. Make sure you're fine. Anyway, so today, as the topic tells, we're going to be discussing about tips to help you pass your OSCE. So we know our OSCE, although it's increasing now to 10, but in all areas of OSCE, the things that will help you to pass, just general tips to pass your OSCE is what we'll be discussing here today. Number one, when you're approaching, make sure everywhere is safe. So you have to look around, check there is no wires or Zimmer frames or wheelchair pedals and all things strewn around the corner. No, make sure there's nothing like that, that you have everything, that if it's safe, there's no water spilled on the floor because you might trip or your patient might trip, and fall, and that's a hazard. So first of all, as you're approaching, number one is safety. So environment safety, that's a very a big point. They mark you on that. Okay, and then the next thing is you have to introduce yourself. But while you're introducing yourself, you start to do your hand hygiene. So your hand hygiene is very important. Some they might give you water, some they might, mostly during this pandemic, they have been they use alcohol gel. So it depends on what is obtainable in your center, if it's washing with water or if it's hand gel, alcohol hand gel. So you can use either, but remember your 7 steps of WHO hand hygiene. Okay, your WHO 7 steps of hand hygiene is very important. I'm not going to say it, go and check it so you know the procedure. I'm not going to say what I'm doing, you know what I'm doing. Yeah, so your WHO 7 steps of hand hygiene is very important for you to do that as well. Okay, and we've said about introducing ourselves, and again, and then you have to check for the ID of your patient. So any procedure you're doing, you have to check in all the procedure, in all the skills, in your API, you have to check for the ID. So the ID, if your patient is in the hospital, what you'll be checking for is the name, the date of birth, and you're going to be checking as well for the hospital number. So if your scenario is in the hospital, but if you're in the community, you'll be checking for the name, the date of birth, and the first line of their address. Got it? Good. So that's what we'll be checking for. And then before you do any procedure, you have to gain consent from the patient. You cannot just say, I'm coming to take your, is it okay if I check you? Is it okay? Can I do that? And they have to say yes. So it's important to gain consent. You just can't go and human rights. So it's very, very important. It doesn't matter if your patient is unconscious. It doesn't matter if your patient is in coma. It doesn't matter. You have to say, I'm going to be doing this today for you. Okay, because obviously you just have to, it doesn't matter, you have to gain consent from them. That is there's no two ways about that. No two ways about that. You have to gain consent. Okay. So, and then very importantly, you have to establish the reason for admission. I know sometimes as a patient, it sounds silly, and you come to the doctor, you've been on admission, and a doctor or a nurse comes to see you and say, oh, so why are you in the hospital? Doc, can't you see my paperwork? Yeah, but what if a different person has left and somebody else is sitting on the is lying on the bed now? Or even it's also a way they are assessing for their GCS. So you know that you're assessing for your GCS to know for your neurological assessment. So it's important to establish the reason. So why are you in hospital today? Oh, I might say, oh, I fell down and hit my head and all that. So it's important to establish the reason of admission. Very, very important. And make sure that your communication is clear. Make sure that the patient understands you and that you understand them. You know, make sure that you understand each other. And then you have to, okay, before I continue, you know, when you're going to do, say, oh, I've come to do your vital signs, I've come in to do your blood pressure, I've come in, you have to tell them what you're doing, and you have to tell them the score. Oh, I've done your blood pressure is 120/80, is 170, it's, you know, the systolic is this and the diastolic is that. Or I've done your oxygen saturation level and it's 97, it's 98, it's, and then tell them what action to take next. Or because if it's something that you have to escalate, so you have to say, oh, so it's this, I'm going to escalate it, you know, I'm going to tell the senior nurse, I'm going to let the doctor know, or probably if you're doing during implementation, you're giving medication and there was a discrepancies in the medication, so you have to escalate. So make sure that you tell them what you're doing, and if there's doubts, escalate. All right, thank you. Very important. I want to bring out something. You see this, you know, I don't know, can you see this? Yeah, it's important. I think what they advise, if you're doing in your planning, in your evaluation, in any of this, is write your name and date before you start. Because usually what happens, people forget, and then when there's no name, it's invalid, obviously. Which day did you do it? How can we establish to know what's the condition of this patient? Or, you know, so once there's no date, there's no signature, is invalid. Whatever you've done, even if you got 100, is invalid, and then is an automatic fail. So don't do that. You can fail because of date. Once you get in and they're giving you this, you're about to start, first and foremost, when you get it, write down the date, sign at the bottom, and proceed. Even in your planning, maybe I'm going to do different thing for each skill, different criteria, tips for each criteria for different skills. It's important you put your date, put your name, date, name, the hospital number is there. Usually I think it comes with the hospital number, but you will see the spaces, you just fill it up. Okay, you fill it up and make sure it is dated. When you're filling it up, you're putting temperature, make sure you put it in the right box. And there's a question somebody asked recently and said if they were going to, what to do, if they're going to write out the 18 or put dots. It depends on your center. So if you're registered with Oxford Brookes, there's module, you can go there and check. They have samples of all these observation charts. If it's in, I think, Ulster, Northampton, I think they use a Blackboard. So you go there, they have all those samples, they have everything there. They have enough resources to help you. I mean, that's why I said they're not wanting you to fail. They have enough resources to help you to pass your exam. So just check, double check which center, because I think each center, I'm not 100% sure, but I think each center have different ways of filling up their observation chart. So just check and be sure. So this is for your news 2, and this is for, hang on, for your GCS. And then if you're in doing community, so if you're doing PHQ9 or you're doing a must chart, you go with a plain observation, normal observation chart, almost like this one for GCS. That's what you go with, and then you see how to fill it. So if you want specific video on how to fill all this chart, we want us to do it, please comment down below, let me know, and then I can do a chart. If enough people indicate interest, then I might do a video on it. Okay, so but remember, date, sign, signature, your name, date, sign, signature, those are very important. All right, thank you. And the next thing, and obviously fill it properly in the right box. Okay, for temperature, for everything, make sure it's properly filled up. All right. And I don't know, did I say about allergy check? You have to check for allergy. It's very important, and establish what allergy. So, oh, do you have any allergy? Oh yes, I'm allergic to penicillin, or I'm allergic to nuts, or I'm allergic to kale. So what happens when you eat kale? Establish the allergy. So what happens when you take penicillin? So what happens when you eat kale? What happens when you eat nuts? And they will say maybe they have rashes, or they have a swollen tongue, or whatever kind of reaction they have. Okay, it is very, very, very important to establish. And then when you're doing health education, don't be judgmental. So you see somebody that is smoking, or somebody that is diabetic and still want to put 4 cubes of sugar in their tea, or somebody, don't say, don't you know that you have diabetes, that thing can kill you. No, they still have their rights, because if they have capacity, which we know, if they have mental capacity, then they understand that even though the fact that they are making a wrong decision is still a decision. If you know your mental capacity, you did your CBT, so your mental capacity is still a decision. So you can't, so be sensitive. Oh, I smoke. You know, somebody that has lung cancer, and they're smoking. Be sensitive about how you deal with it. Be sensitive how you tell them. Obviously, you have to refer them. So it's very important. It's a trap they put in there. So it's somebody that is smoking, you have to refer them. Ask them consent if they want to be referred. Just make them aware that there's a service, there's a smoking cessation, or the diabetic nurse, or tissue and viability nurse, or salt, whichever one, whatever the case is that you want to refer them. You can even refer them if it's a dying patient. You can suggest spiritual help, and it's very important in your care plan if is a dying patient. So very important, spiritual, whatever spiritual they do, you have to refer them and say, oh, do you want a priest, or do you want your whosoever, whatever you believe in, you know, to come to you. And then you make sure in your evaluation and in your care plan. Okay, we'll come to that. Let's not go into that. I think I'll do a video on care plan, but let me know if you want me to do it. And then, so yeah, check your findings with the person. So, oh, your blood pressure is high today. Do you usually have blood pressure? What is your normal blood pressure, for example? So you check findings that you have with the patient. Yeah, so remember, we've talked about how many points have we discussed? We talked hand hygiene, safety, ID check, allergy check, verbal communication, introduce yourself, gain consent, establish reason for admission, signature. We talk about 3-way ID. We talk about checking your finding with the patient. We talk about what else? Deal with health education sensitively. So I hope with this viewpoint of mine, I've been able to convince you that you can pass your OSCE with ease. All right. So, but I want you to let me know in the comment section if you want me to do more videos on, or anything that you actually want me to do videos on. Let me know. Okay. All right. So thank you once again for watching. Thank you so much. Thank you for your support. Thank you for those that have liked my video. Thank you. Honestly, I'm so grateful. Thank you. Thank you for liking. Thank you for subscribing. Thank you for commenting. I love the comment section. Thank you. So go subscribe and have a good congratulations ahead on your OSCE pass, and congratulations on becoming a UK registered nurse. I love you all. Bye.